Alright guys, time to get around to reporting on a game that I played against a guy called John a couple of weeks ago. Significant background behind John is that he took a 35-point list to the New Zealand Masters last year, and it was the eButcher Tier 4 list with mainly just Doom Reavers, Fenris and Heavy Warjacks. He placed second because nobody was really able to deal with his list. It was only a 2-list tournament, and he managed to get through to second place. Now, I'm hanging out with him and his friends nowadays and playing games against this little group, and he said it was time for me to face the list that everybody feared, and this is it here. But it's a 50-point variation of the list, so he's added in some Manhunters and some extra jacks. The other thing is that I've actually agreed to start painting his army for him, because he's kind of one of those guys that will never actually paint his own miniatures, so I'm looking forward to that. I've already painted Fenris for him, so this is partly the inspiration for the game. Anyway, scenario, it is Incursion, 3 flags in the middle, 1 disappears after the first turn, I believe. This will help him, actually. We've unwittingly chosen a scenario that will benefit him, but I am practicing for a flag-only scenario tournament coming up in November. And it's my 50-point Kromac list. My Kromac list, I quite like it, but it has the weakness of not really, having much fury management in there. And I think the trade-off is that I get to include both the Pureblood and the Lord of the Feast and all of the other heavy war beasts and things that I need. That way I can put Wraithbane on the Lord of the Feast to deal with Winterguard that have Iron Flesh on them. Anyway, next photo, his army set up here, just basic Doom Reavers out the front and jacks along and from behind, and of course the War Dog hanging back. Next image, a look at his Fenris model, which I have painted. Unfortunately, don't have a close-up of this for you guys, but maybe another time. Again, this is with the iPhone camera, because I keep forgetting to bring my normal photo taker, my normal camera for these games. But yeah, on with the game, because it's this is quite an interesting game, because it really increased my understanding of certain areas of War Machines. So that's why I thought I'd report on it. Next image, John goes first. The eButcher tier list gives him +1 to the roll for the first turn, so just moves everything forward as far possible as moves everything as far forward as he possibly can, I meant to say. And what I've got to watch out for here is that the Doom Reavers themselves have a huge threat range, and there's a lot of my stuff here which will just die straight away to Doom Reavers, so I've got to be really careful about how I respond. Next photo, he's got his Manhunters going through the woods. They have Hunter, so that will help them. And as you can see, I've put Prey onto the Doom Reavers on my left. So that's them there entering the forest. Although, I have to question his choice to put them in the forest, because they don't have Pathfinder, which means that these guys will be sort of stuck for a little while. Next photo, I've got Inviolable Resolve on my Wolfriders, something I don't normally do, but because just about everything in his army causes command checks with Abomination, I have had to resort to it, and this will stop the Wolfriders failing their command checks, and obviously if they do fail their command checks, they will be goners. But anyway, moving up forward and picking off a couple of Doom Reavers with my my shots here, and luckily him failing his tough rolls. That's the other really bad thing about facing this army, is that it's extremely tough, extremely killy in close combat. And as some commentators have suggested, it's a very, how should I put it, it's a very paper, scissors, rock sort of tier list. Either you hard counter it or you are hard countered by it, and it doesn't really leave much opportunity to play good, solid, War Machine and Hordes. Having said that, I believe this game was an exception. My Kromac list deals with it to some extent, but it still, gives you a really good game. Next image, everything in my army just shunts forward a slight bit. I considered teleporting Lord of the Feast out, ravening away and getting some first kills straight away, but I think that I can maximise the punishment I dish out with him in later turns. And part of the reasoning behind that was that if I just let him kill a Lord of the Feast right away, he won't really suffer any setbacks, whereas if everything else that he's got is engaged by my models, he'll have to sort of only kill part of my army rather than just pick away at me like he would be able to if I just gave him the Lord of the Feast and nothing else. So next image, John's turn 2. he runs the Doom Reavers up and engages as many of my models as he can. Really, the idea behind this is that he will force me to deal with the front guys. Some of them will pass their tough checks, get up and then kill me, and then his jacks will come in to finish me off if I'm slugging away at their Doom Reavers for a couple of turns. So it's really bad news here. With the scenario, the flag on my left in the forest has disappeared, so we will be contesting the middle flag and the flag to the right. He's already got base-to-base with the middle flag, so he'll go up 1 point if I don't contest it at the end of my following turn. So things could be tight. Next image, I begin my turn focusing on the left-hand flank here. The Stalker warps for Ghostly and moves around the Doom Reavers in such a way that he can ignore free strikes, then Berserk and Warpath to kill some more. But the objective here is to kill that Manhunter, which is engaging the 2 Wolfriders, so I can free them up to go and kill some Doom Reavers, since the Doom Reavers are their prey. So next image, I've also got the Lord of the Feast teleporting, or charging out, I should say, and he actually hacks down 2 Doom Reavers in front of him. I'd taken this photo after I'd removed the first one, you know, roughly where his pointing finger was meant to be, but I did take out the next one next to him as well, and I think possibly even the third guy, but that picks up some corpse tokens for him. So next image, he uses that to then virtuoso shoot his Raven at the Grey Lord escort behind them, which was the true target that will allow me to chop him down and prevent the other Doom Reavers from having tough, which will allow the other activations of my army to easily kill the Doom Reavers. So that's part of the plan here. But my dice rolls just went so well at this point that I managed to kill the escort here and end up on 3 corpse tokens, allowing me to hack into Fenris as well. Here you get a much better photo of my painted version of Fenris, but I actually did so much damage here that the Lord of the Feast unhorsed Fenris, which took out another major threat. So really happy with that activation. Definitely got my 4 points worth out of that model. Next photo, back in the meantime to the Stalker, which is warping Ghostly, moving around the Doom Reavers here, cutting down several of them, and then warpathing nearby to the Manhunter, but being very careful not to warpath into such a range where Berserk will force me to actually hack down one of my Wolfriders as well. I just positioned them in such a way that I wouldn't be within line of sight and melee range, so that would happen. So next image, the Wolfriders are freed up and Doom Reavers are cleared, so that allows them to move up and do some assaulting and throwing javelins in general and causing some more damage. Go to the next photo, they move into the forest where they are engaging the preyed up Doom Reavers, and they manage to kill them using the mount and rider attacks. My opponent being a little bit unlucky with his tough rolls, but I'm also opting to try and kill the escorts wherever I can and deny them from the tough rolls altogether. Next image, going over the right-hand flank now that the left-hand flank is cleared, what I decided to do was feat and send Kromac over here to attack the enemy personally. He feated so that because this is such an important turn for me, I'd have enough fury to really cast all my spells and then use Kromac's own activation to clear out some of the Doom Reavers, allowing me to get an easier job with my beasts themselves. But such a blurry photo, so we'll go to the next one and we can see a bit more of a focused image of my Kromac model, and as you can see, he's got 1 axe in each hand, 1 for each of these 2 guys to the left and right, and he does manage to chop them up and lightning strike back away to safety, which really made me happy. Next image, quite importantly, the other Stalker has managed to head over here. I believe he went ghostly and then trampled over a couple of Doom Reavers, ignoring free strikes, and importantly, this one's got wild aggression. He's able to then chop down the escort, which will allow me to really deal with the other Doom Reavers on this flank. After he's chopped down the escort, he then warpaths over to kill some of the guys behind him, and then, because he's had a lightning strike on him, which was really cool. He cast Lightning Strike before finishing his activation, that is. He then is able to Lightning Strike over to the objective number 2, securing me 1 point, and of course, because I'm not bothering to contest the one in the middle, because I'd be dead if I did, my opponent gets 1 point at the end of his turn as well. Gorax charging in to kill the last Doom Reaver, and I must say, after the dust settled, my turn number 2 was a really, really good turn. I believe I played very well, and I killed just about every Doom Reaver on the board. So that gives me a much more of a hopeful position to win the game. But having said that, he's still got eButcher and a bunch of heavy warjacks, which can just about crush anything that I throw at them. Next image. This is the picture after my turn 2. I've only lost, well, I've lost nothing at this point, but my Doom Reavers, my Lord of the Feast rather, is about to die. He's up next to the middle guys. My opponent has a Grey Lord Escort and a 1 Doom Reaver left in his army. He's got Yuri the Axe, but all the Manhunters are dead. Next image, eButcher rolls 1 for the number of focus that he has this turn, which is extremely unlucky for my opponent because he wanted to get more done. He really wanted to put a lot of focus onto one of his warjacks so he could kill my Stalker contesting the second objective. So next photo, eButcher moves around, I think killing Lord of the Feast, or maybe he left that to one of his jacks, can't quite remember. His dog's way further in the background. His dog's actually been left in a position where he had to take abomination checks from Butcher for some reason, or one of his other models, and failed them twice in a row, which was really silly. Next image, he does manage to get a special ability up on his jack to charge over the wall and slam my Stalker. The reasoning behind this is that if he could slam her far enough back, he'd be able to contest the objective, or take the objective and win. But there was a wall nearby, so even had he rolled high enough, the Stalker would have been able to contest that one, and I wouldn't have lost automatically. But having said that, the Stalker's in a lot of trouble now, because he was smashed outside of Kromac's control range by this move. Next image, Fenris charges my other Stalker on the left-hand flank after the Lord of the Feast had been killed, but he rolled badly for Fenris's attack rolls here and missed the Stalker twice, I think needing 6s. So again, extremely unlucky for my opponent. He's not made many of his tough rolls. He's rolled 1 for eButcher's focus, and he's been rolling poorly for his attack rolls in some cases. Although he did win the roll for the first turn, and the scenario was going for him, so I've got to say that. I mean, it's been fairly even in my opinion. Next photo on the left-hand flank here, he's got a couple of activations to use, but again, just can't get the job done. Yuri the Axe misses the Wolfrider with his attack. The Doom Reaver can't hit the, or maybe does a little bit of damage to the Stalker, can't quite remember. The Grey Lord just hanging out in the forest, so nothing really going according to plan for my opponent with Khador. Next image, the Stalker, unfortunately out of Kromac's control range. I believe what happens is he frenzies and makes a single attack against this warjack here, and does a little bit of damage, but not really enough to make any difference, but importantly still contesting this control point. Next photo, I retaliate here and wipe out Yuri the Axe, wipe out the Doom Reaver, wipe out Fenris, so that allows, get the Grey Lord Escort at this point, so really just thinking about preying on eButcher and trying to end it in my next turn. The only problem is, if you go to the next photo, what I have to do is I have to contest this objective in the middle, otherwise I lose, and this is where it gets really dicey. eButcher's up there, and he will be able to move over and kill both of these models, and if he doesn't, then he's got 2 jacks to kill me anyway, so he's got more than enough resources just to kill a plain old Gnarlhorn, Satyr, and Gorax. If you go to the next photo, I've moved my Pureblood up to spray the jack that I charged. The Gnarlhorn and the Gorax weren't able to roll well enough to kill it. So even with Primal, that is, so the Pureblood sent his spray in and managed to destroy it, so that wrecked one of the jacks, but he's still got another one up and running. And if you go to the next photo, just zooming out, this is the battlefield situation. I've lost nothing except the Lord of the Feast. He's got 4 models left. One of them's his caster, one of them's a War Dog who's failed like 2 command checks in a row, and he's got 2 jacks, which, is just hanging around. Going to the next photo, it's critical the amount of focus he rolls, and it's a 1 again, so incredibly my opponent just being denied opportunities to win the game. But having said that, going to the next photo, eButcher charges, and even though he's only rolled 1 for focus, it's 1 plus 1, he's got 2. Because he's such a powerful melee warcaster, he kills the Gorax and the Satyr anyway, winning him the game as he probably deserved to. There's probably a few things that I could have done better to win this game, and I believe that obviously if it was a non-scenario game or a more difficult to win scenario, I would have got it. But just a fantastic game, and it taught me a lot about this type of Khador T-list, and playing against melee centric infantry heavy armies in general. But really exciting game, really epic stuff, interesting dice rolls. Hope you guys enjoy this one. We'll be catching you later.